Sometimes you just gotta burn it to the ground. What's up, guys? So I heard a quote from another industry leader named Dan Beer out of Southern California. Dan, how are you, brother? And he had a video where he was talking about how he just had to tell somebody on his team that he couldn't help them. And I thought these were four really powerful words, right? I can't help you. Four really powerful words, because I found myself a few months ago realizing that, as has happened, many times now on my team, that my team had a lot of agents on it that, frankly, I couldn't help because, one of the things that I recognized early on was that my job as a team leader was to provide a foundation or a base from which people could jump off and start their career. Now, one of the things I didn't learn until recently, or maybe internalize, was that it was not on me to make them successful, right? That was a big distinction that I made, was that I needed to have the systems and processes in place. I needed to have the hub, right? The hub that allowed salespeople to be salespeople and be really, really successful with what they did. But I think, as many leaders do, I feel some responsibility for making sure everybody on my team eats well, and that they find the success that they're after. But as Dan Beer pointed out, there comes a point where you have to say, look, I can't help you, because as a leader is in my business, a leader in your business, right? Our job is simply to provide the foundation, to provide the opportunity. We cannot make the horse drink the water, right? We can only lead them to it. And I think this is really, really powerful, because for so long, and I find myself going on this it's a cycle that I go in, where I bring folks on the team, sales agents, and I almost want success for them more than they want it for themselves. And I found myself in a place again where I restructured my team very intentionally, knowing that structure would not be beneficial for the folks who were on the team but were not producing. Now, if somebody's on the team and they are producing, the new structure is actually wildly beneficial for them. But if it's a new agent, or maybe not even a new agent, but just an agent who is underperforming, who's not putting in the effort that they need to, the new structure on my team is actually not beneficial at all, because it requires that at some point they either be producing or that they start paying their own way, basically. I really needed to be telling them, instead of just simply restructuring and saying, hey, this is the new way forward, that either in a production-based business you're going to produce, or maybe it's time you reconsider. I really needed to have that discussion with them to say, I can't help you if you're not willing to put forth the time, the energy, the effort to make the calls, to hold the open houses, to ultimately make contact with folks who maybe need your help. If you're not willing to do that, I can't help you. Because at some point, all the systems, all the processes, all the hacks, all the time hacks, all of the great scripts and dialogues that we have, all of it means nothing if you're not actually willing to go implement it. And so, kudos to Dan Beer. I mean, he made such a succinct statement to somebody on his team. And I think it's something that, frankly, we need to be more open to telling not just sales agents on our team, but maybe administrative staff, or video production staff, or whatever the case may be. If they're not pulling their weight, I can't help them. I think that's good leadership at some point, is that you don't coddle people into a place where they're not succeeding, right? At some point, there has to be a little bit of tough love where you say, look, if you're not willing to help yourself, I can't help you either. And so here's your invitation to either up your game, or maybe find another career path that better suits your needs. Because if you're not willing to help yourself, I certainly can't do it either. Don't let your business suffer because you want it more than they do. right? And ultimately, that's what it boils down to, or at least does for me so much, is that ultimately, I want success for people oftentimes more than they want it for themselves. And I can't want it for them. And if they're not willing to put the work in, I can't help them. And I think if any leader in a business, whether they own a business, whether they are a sales manager in that business, whether they've ever managed people at all ever, I think they probably can resonate with that. So let me know what you think. Shoot me an email back, leave a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below.